Hello there, wonderful people. There is frost that is beginning to appear everywhere. There's hail coming in, there's rain, there's snow, there's a cold, and with all of these things, there's a pressing need, nay, in fact, demand for baked goods. And we, as a cast, are here to satisfy that need because, hello there, folks. You are here on Girls Run These World as part of our ongoing holiday one-shot series. I am Angela Lemos Mogrevejo. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm so excited to have here today to share with all of you a one-shot of a system that's known as Great Lich's Bakeoff. It's PBTA based, powered by the Apocalypse, for those who are not aware of that acronym. And we are here to give you a little bit of a chaotic, magical, fantastic bake-off goodness. So, to that end, I'm going to go around and give everyone a chance just to introduce themselves. Just say name, who you are, pronouns, and name of your character and pronouns, but do not give a description just yet. I will do the proper GM facilitator lead-in of your characters once we have everyone very quickly introduced. But I promise you, for those of you who are willing to wait, it will be a wonderful thing to wait for indeed, as we have fantastic casts here, and I'm already excited. I mean, look at all of these people. Look at them. They look fantastic. Look at these faces. Can you not see nothing but beacons of fantastic goodness? And in some cases, sharp fanginess, which is also goodness in some cases, or badness if you want that too. But to that end, let's start with the always wonderful, fantastic Shelby. Take it away.
Thank you, and hello. My name is Shelby. I use she, they pronouns, and I will be playing Julia Moros, she, her.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. One of our newcomers to the space, to the community, to our games that I'm so happy to be bringing in. Megg, why don't you let people know who you are and who you will be playing, as we have a small furry friend in the background who will be your familiar, intentionally or not.
I am megggriffin. I use she, they pronouns as well. I'm playing Lizzie Ann Lahane, and my wonderful familiar ride or die is Timbo, and I'm sure she will be making lots of appearances.
Specifically, that has already been noted. Hello there. Hello there. Hello there, lovely.
Perfect.
Next up, the ever-present, the Fangy, and the wonderful Tom. Take it away, please.
Hello, my name is Tom. I use they, them pronouns, and today I will be possess, maybe, the Lord Shrewsbury Oggy the Third. And I'm not supposed to say anything more, I think.
I think
Right
you're
now.
good. You're good. You're good. You're good. And keeping that level of seriousness and all intended professionalism going, we finish last but not least our own fantastic Michelle.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle Kelly. My pronouns are she, her, and I will be playing Gary Bloke, and his pronouns are he, him.
I did not know the name until now, and I'm already so happy. So let's get into it here, folks. We have some time to share with you some fantastic baked goodness. Now, what do I mean when I'm bringing up all this baked goodness in here? Well, Great Lich's Bakeoff, which is the game that we are playing, is a system that let me pull up the creator's name. As put out by Tritonus Games and created by Peter Reitz. It's a game that is a simple premise. All of us are involved in the original game format to essentially help set a lich to be at peace but instead of breaking a phylactery through combat, we do it through the all sensible and totally makes sense method of bake-off competition. Makes sense. I've decided to change that up a little bit, given that some of the original gets a little into the what should we call euthanasia-y kind of territory, and as a result, kind of want to avoid that. So instead, we're essentially 5 magical, well, 4 magical and 1 question mark magical individuals who've been summoned to the domain of a winter witch who currently is in the midst of packing and has been in the midst of packing to try and go see her girlfriend on a yearly visit. However, someone has cast an enchantment upon her home and made her unable to leave. So she has summoned all of us to make use of baking magic, whatever chaotic means that will manifest through the process of a bake-off competition, to break the enchantment, free her from her home, and let her go see her sweetheart. Because every bit of the holidays, every bit of good festive cheer needs just a little bit more gay. And when I say just a little bit more gay, I mean a lot more gay. If you've ever looked at a Hallmark channel, good Lord, it's the definition of straight disaster everywhere. If you don't know what the Hallmark channel is,
gay.
it's Yuletide straight, but like constricting on all hours of the day, and we need a little bit more gay thrown in there. So we are instead going to be helping a winter witch try and see her girlfriend by breaking her soul anchor and allowing her as an arch revenant and as a master baker witch, who I believe we decided her specialty was cinnamon, which is one of the best things ever. I've had a player group decide to have the Revenant's magic be based around in specialty. So that is the whole premise, everybody. That is the general vibe of things. Now we're going to launch into the game itself, and I will set the stage. Everyone, tune in your ears, pay very much attention, and imagine, if you will, using your fantastic minds. It is a cold, blustery night. There is an opulent home. It seems somewhere between witch's cottage made in reality by like a commune of lesbians, because it's a lot of witch covens, and a mansion torn from books of old. There are people gathered here, but not just ordinary people. There are folks of all stripes, all persuasions, from across all of the realms, whether they be something elemental, something dream-based, or a person who's just ended up here because they don't know how they ended up here. Just kind of stumbled on here. Maybe, I guess, was part of the backstage crew for something and just was like eating a pizza or having tea and ended up here. But whatever it is, we have 5 bakers who have assembled here. And in turn, I will point to each one of you as we have a rather impeccably dressed individual who is not one of Sue and Shar from the first season of Great British Bake Off, just sort of standing by as a small little broadcast is being done to show the event, as many people have heard of the witch's plight and are hoping for the success of these bakers. As we see a very brightly colored haired individual come in. Shelby, why don't you describe what your character looks like, what their baking specialty is, and what reward they have been promised by the witch should they be able to make it through this competition as the winner.
Of course. Yes, hello. As I said during our introductions, my name is Julia Moros. You might know my grandfather if you're familiar with Slavic folklore. He is Died Moros, or Grandfather Frost. I am his granddaughter, Julia. I am a frost elf with blue hair, magnificently pointy ears. Of course, glistening, pearlescent skin. My specialty is apples. And I have joined this competition not only to aid a fellow supernatural creature, but also to get a magnificent winter whisk.
Fantastic. And now coming in with a certain level of like 90s to early 2000s rock just playing in the background, the very girl band fronted and a bunch of other things. And there's apparently a creature that's been randomly staked outside that was attempting to make its way into the building. Meg, why don't you describe your character for us?
So my name is Lizzie Ann, and I am the proud mom of a 2 twin boys, and I have won many awards for all the baked goods that I make for the PTA groups. And yeah, I was told this chaos grader that I've been looking for like decades is here. So that plus, true love always wins. But between that and my magic of spirits, shamanism, it's going to be a good day.
Ah, fantastic, wonderful. We love to see a mom who's more than capable of delivering on all the fantastic needs for their kids, and also may or may not have been involved in supernatural wacha punches and fighting and all of that.
You just have to
And
stay in shape, you never know what's going to come at you.
yes, it beats Tybo. Anyways, carrying on from that, we have, as though they have risen from the grave themselves for a fantastic occasion. Tom, why don't you introduce your character and their overall vibe to us?
Yes, gladly. So, my name is Lord Shrewsbury Oggybottom III. I have roamed this lands and world for many a century, but I finally decided to settle on a look and aesthetic of a Victorian character because I just think it fits me the best, don't you think? And as I traveled the worlds, I found that I developed a taste for baking goods. But sadly, as I am a vampire and I only have fangs to eat and can't digest corporeal stuff, that I had to reduce myself on fluids. And so over the years, I developed my magic speciality, moist magic, making sure that every my bakes has the soggy bottom it needs to fulfill my deepest desires and dreams. And so also my special ingredient will be oranges, blood oranges to be precise, because only they can fulfill me with that fluid and also satisfactory acidic taste that I desire so much in the days of my waking. And yeah, I always struggle to get them juiced properly, so I will try to get from the witch the magical and famed juicer of Andrew the Seducer. I heard it's the best in all the world.
For those who are unaware, this fantastic system has a whole section related to magical items that you can pick to be from the Witch's Trove, and it's great. Some of them are amazing. While we now contemplate what we would do in the shadows as a result of Tom's character and such, we move to our last competitor who we looked back at the list and we weren't exactly sure what to make of this individual. Well, not technically the last one, but the last who isn't the GM, as I will put it. Michelle, explain.
Yeah, all right. Hi, all right. I'm Gary Bloke up, but you can call me the Amazing Gaz. I did think I thought I was booked to be the host. To be honest with you, I host children's parties a lot, but I mean that's all right. I'm happy to bake. Gig's a gig, innit? Gig's a gig. And our Shaz says that I'm all right with tropical fruits. Pretty good at putting tropical fruits into my bake, so I reckon I can do a good job actually. And I've heard, all right, between you and me, I've heard that this witch has the rolling pin, a perfectly proportioned pie crust. And that between you and me, my pie crusts get a bit uneven, so I'm really hoping I could get my hands on that rolling pin. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And last but not least, all of a sudden, just sort of appearing through a tear within the fabric of reality in the middle of this witch's home, you see a dark onyx toned knight wielding a flaming sword that seems to have been the very source of the tear across the realms, speaking in a terrible voice that just seems to say, "We have arrived here, mistress." And you see just plopping off of this on a magical spectral horse is a very dainty, very brightly toned, almost like bisexual flag color schemed little fairy who just says, "Thank you, Charlie. You are dismissed." And you see this individual simply goes by the name of Nady. Neidy. Hello there, everybody. My name is Nady. I was told that there was a competition that was happening here, and I'm super excited to get to be around everybody. And if I'm not able to win, I'll destroy all of you, but that's a problem for later, you. So, with that being said, I am a specialist in strawberry and dream magic. And so, as a result, I'm hoping I can make a fantastic little sweet treat for you all. Otherwise, I'll have to go feral. I love you all. Oh, and I'm looking for a magical spatula that automatically flips any sort of baked good and or pancake and waffle mix that you would like to be appropriately turned over. I'm looking forward to this, everybody. I hope you lose. So that is Nady and all of her terrifying nature. And now, with all of our contestants introduced, we will get into this. I appreciate the chat recognizing the vibe of otherwise I'd have to go feral. Bless you, Lore Mistress and Jen. So we have a fantastic witch who I've actually lost track a bit. If someone could remind me, what did we end up deciding that our witch looks like? Did we ever give them a proper vibe or a proper look? Slash, does anyone want to give her a proper look right now? You're more than welcome to. So we didn't write it down.
Weren't we
then.
inspired by The Devil Wears Prada?
I believe I
Oh,
think we had
yeah.
said
It's
something like
Meryl
that.
Streep, but
Meryl
gay.
Streep, that's who it was.
Meryl
We
Streep. Yeah.
big
Yes.
Meryl Streep, but gay-er.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mamma Mia meets Devil Wears Prada.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what it was. I knew someone
Absolutely.
would remember the proper description we gave her. I knew it was very specific. So this witch who looks dressed like Meryl Streep and Mamma Mia, but also has a tone of like, well, hello there, everybody. I'm hoping that you will be all successful in your efforts, and I will be able to see my love very soon. I wish you all luck. And as I said before, you will get your magic item when you win, and you manage to break this enchantment. Tut tut, everyone. Good luck. So now, let us start this off with officially playing the game, because we've done all the nice little world building. Although I will add in as just a minor note that for some reason we have 2 NPCs listed here as well, who have not been properly credited as such. So we have, let's just say, these random names we came up with of Skip and Hilda. Skip, who appears to be a little time displaced, seems to have a bit of problems where every time that they sneeze, they just seem to jump forward or backward in time, which is a rather unfortunate thing to be dealing with when you need very precise work on baking. Oh, yes, that was that. And then we also have another individual named Hilda, who regrettably has come here, pretty easygoing, everyday person, and has suddenly realized upon arriving that all of the utensils that they brought for baking are now kids' size because their kids wanted to help. And they accidentally traded out all of their baking supplies.
Oh, that's so precious.
It truly is. But I'm glad that they're going to lose. So with that, let's get into it, everybody. So the overall process for rounds is going to be as follows. So I need everyone for the first round, decide amongst your 3 stats, presentation, flavor, and magic, which one for this round only you would like to focus on, which means you would like to give the +1 to, and which one you kind of want to let to the slide. You want to let slide, which will move it to a -1. And the third stat will have no bonus to it. Something you're good at, something you're not good at. So, I'll give you a moment to do that. You don't have to say it out loud. Just think about what you want to focus on to start with, because there is a benefit to trying to incorporate your magical specialty or your signature ingredient in every single bake that you do. All right, if you have your stats assigned now, we move into the second critical moment. Now, we shall determine what the witch is going to judge this bake on for this round. I'm going to, at random, just pick someone from the cast to roll a d6 And whatever they roll will determine what will be the focus for this round. Which, silly me, I had almost forgotten. I hadn't stated what this round is going to be focused on. I believe we have decided, where is it? The first round is going to be bread. So let's go with Michelle. Roll me a d6 and tell me what your result is.
That's a 1. Get those out early.
Number 1. So with that being the case, the criteria for this is going to be presentation.
Mm.
For some of you, this is going to suck. For me, this means nothing because I put 0 in presentation. So, with that established, everyone will now, when you are ready, will have just a few moments and you can feel free to take turns describing what does it look like in this kitchen scenario, what the kitchen space looks like for each of you as you decide, using the theme we have for this round of bread, what have you come up with? So we'll give it a second, and I'll give it like a minute or two, and then I'll just start picking folks at random to decide again. Bread. If you can incorporate in your descriptions for your bakes a signature ingredient and your particular magical specialty, you will get a +1 for each one of those that you incorporate. So, with that being the case, the kitchen becomes a flurry of activity. The pantry opens up as you just see randomly a wall just part in this massive room that's being used for the bake-off. And there is every kind of spice, sugar, and baking ingredient and flour, those that are gluten-free and otherwise, and those that have been processed by hand and such, all available, all for you to use. The activity begins. People are flurrying about. In Nate's case, she is just flying about, and she's just looking at all of you, possibly judgmentally. You'll never know. Let us start with Megg, or rather, Megg's character. Megg?
So for breads, I decided to lean into one of my boys, Tyler's favorite fairy tale, which is Cinderella. So I'm going to make just these like honey buttered rolls that I'm going to shape to look like the pumpkin carriage from Cinderella. And because my secret ingredient is vampire saliva, I understand we have a moist making vampire, and I don't know how to make of that, but that makes for a great replacement for any water and bread making because it helps it rise just that much better.
Fantastic, wonderful, superb. Sounds ambitious. Sounds like it's asking a lot. But let's see we'll find out how this all turns out. Moving on over to our fantastic frost elf. Please describe your bake.
The first thing that you will notice when you step into my area of the kitchen is that the temperature drops just by a few degrees, just to make everyone slightly uncomfortable. Intimidation tactic, ambiance, who knows? I play my cards close to my chest, but not my bread. For my bread, I have chosen my signature ingredient, apple, to make a wonderful apple spice loaf. Now, it doesn't look like anything too special, as I have just gone with a 5-stranded braid, which is difficult to do. And I've looped it into something resembling a crown, a coronet of lovely toasted brown bread with a lovely egg wash for the glaze to give it a little bit of shine.
Bold, daring. Shall we even say that most dreaded of words, innovative? I like this. But we must see how it turns out. Carrying on over to a Mr. Like the announcer is just a little bit confused reading the last name. Bloke?
the amazing Gaz. If you don't, the amazing Gaz. And so what I'm making is I'm making a bread. Yep, and I'm just kneading it here, as viewers may know. It's an important part of making bread, kneading it. And Gary is he's kneading away, and every time he sort of pushes with the heel of his hands, some cards come flying out of the sleeves. And he's sorry, don't mind that. Well, that's for later. Yeah. So I'm just making a nice walnut and fig. Now, is a fig a tropical fruit? I hear you ask, and I'm not sure, but possibly. You'd have to Google it, and I don't think Google works here. My phone has been completely bricked since I arrived at this house. I don't know what's going on, but it's all right. I wrote the recipe down just for a bit of patter, when I thought I was hosting. But I'm not boss. I quite like baking, so yeah, walnut and fig bread. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
As the individual who again, splendidly and impeccably dressed, very short-haired, not at all flagrantly lesbian individual, looks at you and is like, dare we consider conversations here about the classification of the proper classification of fruits and other citruses and tropical fruits of that nature? We shall see, wonderful viewers. But while we are pondering the mysteries of fruit and all manner of fruits, as I am very well acquainted with fruit and all of its nature, we move on over to a most chilling and undead of individuals with the most wet of specialties. You have the floor.
Packing up all that saliva. Well, yes, I came across this particular bake whilst I was traveling through the darkness of the Black Forest. It was a few years ago, and I found this wonderful recipe of an orange brioche bun that is braided together, and it will be decorated with nuts and almonds and a whole lot of butter always over there. And normally, and to see Lord Shrewsbury just using his fangs to like juice an orange, just going and then spraying that into the dough basically, and using the fangs also to scrape off some orange zest. And normally I just stop after sucking the oranges because my needs are satisfied, but I appreciate that probably the witch won't be happy with just drinking a glass of orange juice, so I decided to incorporate it in this wonderful bread that I am making here, and I very much hope that it will come out quite nice and soggy out of the oven, which is why I incorporated this magical little bubble of orange juice that I will just let float into the oven capacity so that the bread can bake and soak up the moisture whilst it is in the oven. I'm looking forward to the wonderful experience that this will make.
We've really got to get in that juicer, haven't we?
Well, while our fantastic lord is making use of natural talents and fangy propensity for juicing, despite the the camera slowly moves over. There is a juicer over somewhere in the pantry,
Nope.
but it has not been noticed whatsoever or made use of in any way, shape, or form. The host just sort of turns and aims the camera downwards and is just like, "And you, Nady, what would you like? What are you working on?" And you see, and he's just like, "You don't need to point the camera down. I'm not that short." And just camera pulls back a bit and see. So I've decided for today that I would like to keep it a bit direct, and I've decided to go with a strawberry bread. My specialty is strawberries, and so what I decided is that I wanted to try and incorporate these different bits of sliced strawberries all throughout it, while also adding in a strawberry glaze on top that is just the right amount of sweetness. But any person can do just a simple bread, and offered that as their final bake. I have decided that I also wanted to maybe lean into a little bit of savory sweetness with that saltiness. So I have also, and you watch as she's trying to finish making certain aspects of the bread, toasts it, and is essentially making in addition to that, a mixture for her own take on a crostini of ricotta cheese mixed with salt and pepper, basil ribbons, fresh picked strawberries, and a balsamic reduction. I'm hoping that pulling from the dream world and manifesting the kind of sugars and sweetness that only children can think of will make this fantastic. Because if it doesn't, I'm about to let loose terrible things on everybody.
I'm dead already.
Oh, don't worry. The dead will fear me too. Just now, and Sir just goes, and with that terrifyingly threatening statement, we have everybody's bakes have been described, and we shall now move onwards to our final one. So, for this next bit, folks can choose now in this moment whether or not they would like to assist someone else. So, you've all announced your bakes. Do you want to help someone else? If you do, you will roll 2d6 plus whatever relevant stat based off the method you are using, which is flavorful ingredients, presentation skill, or magic. And depending on what you roll, a potential benefit will happen for the person you're trying to help. And if you roll poorly enough, a negative will happen to your bake because you got distracted. Does anybody want to try and assist for this first round?
Not
Yeah.
yet. I am still observing.
I think Gary is deeply, deeply disturbed by watching the vampiric associate to his right using his fangs to juice an orange, and will kind of lean over and sort of say, you know, mate, while you're looking for some less horrifying way of getting the juice out of your oranges, you know, you might want to try incorporating some of that zest. You know, it's food waste. It's a big issue. Our Shaz was she read a bit about it on I think she saw it on Loose Women. I don't know, but she was telling me all about it, and she's a wise woman, my Shaz. So if you get one of these zesters, you can get some of the rind right off them oranges. Good flavor, and then you won't have to do the bit. You know, if you don't want to. I mean, that's, take it or leave it. You know, I'm just Gary Plug,
You mean there's a different way to scrape an orange than using your terrifyingly long fingernails?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know what they say. What workman blames his tools? I know how it is. And if your tools are growing out your own body, then what can you say? You probably, yeah, I'd stand over a sort of a microplane zester. Like, if you fancy it, no skin off my nose. It's a skin off your orange, eh?
That's a very particular object of modern look, I have to say. Haven't seen something like that back all in the Victorian ages. But I will give it a try.
Oh, good on you, mate. Oh, yeah, I'll leave you to it. Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Close enough, yeah. Just think the walnuts are getting a bit nutty. I better get back to them.
So, just to make sure I have mechanical clarity, are you trying to help, Michelle?
I am trying to help, yes.
Trying is the key word here, whether there will be a success.
I'm trying to help with flavor by saying you could use the zest as well as the juice.
Okay, so if you're so you are going with, in that case, right here. So you're going with flavorful ingredients. So roll me 2d6 and plus flavor and tell me what you get.
So whatever my flavor is for this round.
Whatever your is added to this.
Okay.
To whatever your 2d6 roll is, and then I will tell you what happens.
I have rolled 8.
8. 7 to 9. The player you aided will gain a +1 bonus to their Bakeoff roll for this round. So it was successful. It has imparted its flavor. Does anybody else want to help? So Lizzie, do you want to make use of assisting, or are you staying out of this? Nadie is not helping. At least not this round.
Lizzie is going to stay out of it for a bit, mostly because it's been a minute since she's been around so many non-human people, but they all seem so much nicer than the moms at the PTA.
You're probably right.
Lord Oggybottom definitely wants to give back the kindness, and just steps over to the table of the single mom behind him, who is seemingly trying to incorporate a very weirdly a liquid with a weird haptic into the bake, and he just looks at it, sniffs a little bit, and spits into the dough, and just goes, "You're welcome," and goes back to his table.
So that horrifying description aside, I assume you're going for flavor here?
That is what I was intending to do.
Roll 2d6 plus flavor as I try and
My
ignore that.
little pumpkin carriages are gonna have an orange spit flavor.
Well, let's see what happens. Roll 2d6. Tell us what you get, Tom. We'll see what they
That
result of their
is
actions have been.
sadly a 6.
That
I think
is a
that's
6.
not good.
So
You mean spitting in someone else's food wasn't a good idea? What?
I don't know
next?
what you're talking about. I was
So
just
I'm
drawing
going-
conclusions here.
I'm going to read the exact results of this because I find them hilarious.
Oh no.
6 or lower. You get distracted. The player you aided will gain a +1 bonus to their Bakeoff roll for this round. But your own Bakeoff roll will suffer a -1 penalty for this round because of the interruption to your work. So you've just canceled out Guess's benefit. Just amazing.
Yeah, I think what was happening is just doing all of that. I just utterly confused what I was going to do with the greater Gary Bloke gave me, and instead of trying to scrape some of the orange dust off, I'm just somehow my foot ended up over the bowl, and I started grating, and
Oh.
this can't be good.
Terrible. Horrible. Never again will the statement be uttered in a baking situation ever. Good God.
Unsanitary and horrifying.
I do have some regrets. Yeah, I do have some regrets.
So, with the assist rolls having been finished, we move to the all-important Bake-Off roll. So each round, everyone is going to present their final bakes to our Winter Witch for judgment. So everyone, roll 2d6 plus her criteria for this round, which, as we established, is presentation. If you have used a magical specialty in any way in your description, add +1. If you have used your signature ingredient, also add +1. Everyone roll. Let the fates decide. Did anyone get 10 or above?
I did.
Okay, then.
Oh, no, wait. No, I got 10 or above. Yes. Sorry.
Maths are hard. Maths are very hard, as we discovered. So, number 10, you're a front runner this round. The witch looks upon it. And actually, why don't you for our benefit, Tom, describe what is the witch's delight? What about it does she find absolutely wonderful about your bake, despite the terrifying implications of saliva being incorporated into the mix?
So the witch rips off a little bit of the bread and tasted it and has this, for the first moment, quite concerning look on her face, and then just says, then the taste seems to develop in her mouth, and she says, I can really taste the foot of the mountains there in the Black Forest. I can really smell, I can really feel the regional aspect you incorporated into your bake. Very well done. it's a pleasure to taste, and I have to say the consistency is it's like I have never tasted before. So moist.
I hate it.
For those of you who don't like the word moist, this
Moist.
So
perhaps is
sorry.
not going to be the one shot
I'm
for
so
you
sorry.
to watch. So, is Lord Oggy the only one who had gotten a 10 or above? Okay, then. Moving to 7 to 9. Who rolled 7 to 9? That was Lizzie managed it?
Yeah.
Myself? And Yulia or the amazing Gaz. Did either of you get 7 to 9?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so that would be Lizzie and myself. The result, the outcome of 7 to 9 roll is you are safe for now. Narrate the witch's disappointment in your bake. So, Lizzie, what didn't go well about this?
So I bring up a tray of what looks like little pumpkin carriages lined up from large down to the little tiny one with intricate details from the bread, and even got it to puff up just enough so that you can really see the lines and it looks like a pumpkin. Unfortunately, the taste is just a little off. Just like a little too airy in the bread. And that hint of orange just does not go well with like the spicy honey butter that I put together.
Very nice. It was a good attempt, but perhaps not to my standards. You will need to do better on your next bake.
I'm so sorry.
It's just little camera does dramatic peel over to the kids, and they're just like, "We believe in you, Mom." So, in Nadie's case, there's just the separation between the two food concepts. The fact that she did not incorporate them as one suggested, like, because of presentation being the focus, it's like they don't feel unified as an idea. They feel a little too separate from one another. If you'd just gone for one, maybe it would have turned out better. She's just like, I wanted to give options. I thought people like options. I guess I shouldn't be as nice as I have been to people. And just sort of looks with a smile that suggests murder is on the mind, but not actually. So, to our two bakers who did not roll at least a 7, you're up for elimination. What is the disaster that occurred for both of you with your bakes?
So Gary kind of brings up his bake to the gingham altar. It's a sort of quite lumpy, misshapen, very odd looking bread, and he sort of puts it down in his it was meant to look like a sort of a fan of cards, but I probably shouldn't have shaped it before the second proof, because as it grew it sort of lost it. Anyway, here's a fan of cards, eh? Pick a card, pick any card, look at it, don't tell me, put it back, and cut in. And the witch she gets a bread knife and cuts in, and there's a playing card in the middle of the bread, which she pulls out carefully. Was that your card? She kind of looks at it, looks up at Gary and says, no. Right. Also, I did forget to put the figs in. Thank you very much. Right.
Just hear, like, under her breath, it would appear as though reality, or rather the house, has won in this case. And then just like carries on words over to Yulia. Yulia, what went wrong with your bake?
So many things. The two that I will focus on now. The temperature affected the glaze that I was going on. So while the braids were lovely, the glaze didn't quite achieve that mirror finish that I wanted, and instead it looked like somebody had a massive sneeze over my bread. Also, because I perhaps needed it a bit too much. The gluten strands were too strong. You want strong gluten in Siberia, but not here. It is overworked.
So you tell me I can't just shock frost the bread instead of baking it?
Unfortunately, no. It is dense and, quite frankly, inedible.
Shelby actually might be the first person to break me throughout the course of this game because of the look alone. But so, unfortunately, that means we come to the possibility of elimination. So, there is more than one player that is up for elimination, and there are still 2 NPCs who we will see what the fate of their bakes were after we determine your roles for each of you. So, I would like both of you who are potential eliminees, so the folks who did not roll at least a 7, to roll 2d6 plus magic. Tell me what your results are.
Better, that's an 11.
9.
So you both managed to roll at least a 7. So for both of you, we will choose an NPC to eliminate instead. So between the individual who, Hilda, who accidentally brought children's utensils, and Skip, who is unfortunately not as quantum attached to this universe as they would like to be, who will we be eliminating? I think it's fair to leave it between the two of you to decide which one of them does their bake not hold up to snuff.
I would say Skip, because Skip has an allergy to cinnamon.
And I think Gary's kind of thinking, who do I think is in trouble? Well, I think a sneezing sound is heard, and Skip popped into existence directly in front of Gary. He goes, Skip! Yeah, probably Skip. Yeah, he actually missed the entire round. Sneezed at the beginning. We haven't seen him since, and there he is. Yeah, it's a bit late, mate. Oven's not even preheated yet.
And with that, we unfortunately must say goodbye to Skip. Like, well, I gave it my best shot, and just sort of disappears. All of their supplies are gone all of a sudden, like they were never here to begin with.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's a shame, really. Top blow. I hope we can keep in touch, but seems unlikely.
There was too much saliva in this baking already. Thank goodness he is gone.
Where did he go? Like, are we in trouble?
Comes back.
Oh.
I just
hi,
wanted to
Skip.
say hi. I just wanted to say goodbye to everybody. I'm sorry I couldn't give it better. F. Gone again.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of bodily fluids today. Thank you very much.
You know, I always carry hand sanitizer. I do a lot of kids' parties. We clean up
Oh,
horribly.
please,
Yeah, there we go.
please. Thank you. Thank you.
What's sneezing going on?
Oh.
So with that, that is the first round done, everybody. So that is the general outline of how it'll go. Assign stat, we determine what the witch will look at, describe our bakes, we roll, and determine who is going to assist. And when someone is eliminated from the player cast, whether they want to interfere, a bake-off roll, and we get to the last little important aspect, which is we award the Arch Baker. As there was only one individual who managed to get a 10 or above, that means Lord Oggybottom, you are currently our Arch Baker for this next round, which means you get to do instead +2, 0, and -2 for assigning your stats. The +2 reflects the fact that you are doing very well and you feel confident. However, the -2 will reflect the fact that now you have pressure and expectation upon you to show that moist magic can be powerful and capable and all right thing to use in the kitchen. I, as someone who likes baking despite not having done it in a while, am only cringing mildly on the outside and greatly on the inside.
It is the moist appropriate thing to use in baking, in my perspective.
So, with that being the case, we move on to our second round, which for our second round, we are going to be doing a classic. We're moving on to pies. So, with this being the case, I would actually like for Lord Oggybottom to be the one to roll for the criteria. As Archbaker, I think that's a fair little treat to give you. So roll a d6 to, but before you do that, I want everyone to think about the 3 criteria: flavor, presentation, magic. Assign your stats now. And once you have it, roll a d6 to Lord Oggybottom, and then tell us what you are going to do.
In a celebration of the witch, I will roll this lesbian d6 I'm having. And it is a 3.
A 3. So,
A 3.
with a 3, it will be based upon flavor.
Magnificent.
So, with that being the case, we shall give everyone a moment to think over what their bakes are going to be for this round's theme. Think about any notes you want to put on your recipe. Include as many details as you would like. And we have the scene. Folks, randomly individuals who seem to be getting into her home despite her being unable to get out of it. There's just random interplanar interference occurring here. There's another like spectral knight that suddenly appeared and is just out of nowhere, and the armor opened up and there's a little pot and kettle inside of it, and it's just pouring a cup of tea and is just lifting up the visor and just drinking the faceplate part, and is just drinking a little bit of it, and then putting back inside of themselves. And just any steam that comes out is just visibly appearing outside of the front of the little faceplate. Let us start on this occasion with Yulia. What are you going to do for your pie?
For my pie, I am going to be doing a special winter apple tart. I have decided to use, well, because it is a tart, I'm going to play on the words a little bit, and I'm going to use slightly sour green apples in it, thinly sliced, lightly spiced. Now, what makes this special, though, in addition to using my signature ingredient, well, I've also used my ice magic to do flash frozen apple blossoms as decorations on the top. Something that you really need to be careful with, though, when doing any kind of fruit-based dessert. You might want to, especially with apples, you might want to put in a little bit of cornstarch in with your filling. Otherwise, it will be very soggy, and nobody wants a soggy bottom or a sloppy
Shouldn't be
tart.
so sure about that.
You got lucky once. We'll see if it happens again.
As long as you don't freeze my saliva, I'm going strong.
Good God. May any gods, individual who, the host, who for some reason has suddenly gained a little microphone all of a sudden, is like, and may all the gods save us from that description. Let us carry on over to Lizzie. What are you going to be doing for your pies?
I decided to replicate the lemon meringue pies that I made for my wife on our first date. It did not go well. I am terrible at making meringue. So I am using my spirit magic that my bestie Will helped me develop to whip up the meringue to make just the softest clouds that will then just slightly crisp at the end, and make sure we'll have an individual one for each of our judges. Sorry, Tempo has decided that my hand is a toy. And yeah, and as you know, I have found that vampire saliva helps to get that crust, just that right of buttery goodness, and to keep everything just inside so that it doesn't fall apart, especially if I can get that lemon curd to set properly.
A dangerous and bold decision you've gone with, Lizzie. I like it. Call me after this is over. Anyways, just the most flagrant like flirtation that occurs in the middle of the of all this. Anyways, carrying on. The was you hear her about to like say gas and then goes, I'm sorry, the amazing gas.
Now,
Just looked a little bit disgusted with herself that she did the hand gesture as well.
I- it's a branding thing, you understand, about branding. Well, I'm going for a savoury pie, classic, hand raised in the tradition, of wherever it is I'm from. It's not clear from this accent. Don't worry about it. We're going with I was going to do a pulled pork filling. People rave about my pulled pork. It takes hours though, as a thing. And our Shaz, she watched that documentary there on Netflix about about the farming, and she says to me, Gaz, we've got to go veggie. We've got to go veggie. It's not right what they're doing to them pigs. And I said, all right then, Shaz, I'll give it a go. She's a wise woman. So I found this fruit. It's called a jackfruit, if you believe it. Makes an excellent facsimile of a pulled pork. So we're going with that. Much faster to cook as well. Have a lovely barbecue jackfruit pie. It's going to be great. And my presentation wasn't great last round, so we're going to be presenting it in a magic box. Now, what does it do? You have to wait and see. Oh.
Incredible.
I want him to win. It's just so
I
earnest.
also want him to win so much. He's so sincere and earnest. Let's believe in him. My actual
I
what
just
I want
don't
to
know
win
he
is
has
the win
it
to
in
win.
him, but I love that you guys are rooting for it.
He lands just shy of being annoying and comes off as wholesome. You found just the right spot for him.
Now you have landed upon my brand.
I'm so glad I got you any game, Michelle. So, Lord Oggybottom,
Yes.
your pie. What are you going for on this occasion?
So, as you probably can already tell, I have traveled far and wide, and so every dish I'm creating in this competition, which I will hopefully last for all rounds, will come from a different country. And for my pie, I traveled to a very strong vampire community in Greece, and I am creating a particular juicy pie called portocalo pita. Well, portocalo is the Greek word for orange, and pita is the Greek word for pie. And it is a wonderful, wonderful, delicate thing made out of phyllo pastry. And I will fold that, and I will incorporate whole oranges. I mean, I will juice them, and I will use the whole orange into the pie. I won't put whole oranges into the pie because that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? And it will be that wonderful, moist, and delicious. May I read from the recipe? Actually, where is it? I wrote it down. Every bite of Greek orange syrup cake is moist with a bread pudding texture and sticky sweet, thanks to the orange syrup. And I will make sure that this is a experience where you bite into the layery, flavorful cake and it just drools out of the mouth of the witch. And it will be amazing.
I hate that I keep taking a drink every time you go to explain something.
In any other situation,
So
this would
regret it.
read as incredibly pornographic, but I am not interested.
No. No.
Spoiled pornographic food descriptions aside, which is a phrase I never thought I would say ever in my life, which thank you, Tom and Lizzie, for allowing this for me, as also Shelby. We go to Nady. Nady, once again, the camera is there, but it's no longer looking down at her because the host is sort of just mildly afraid of Nady at this point, and is just like, "Don't piss off the angry fairy. It's a bad course of action." And you see that she has like a little thing that she's drawn out, and it looks as though it's this very intricate and delicate lattice work outline that she's done. She pipes up saying, "So I decided to go with something a little bit more traditional. I decided that I'm going to go with a fresh strawberry pie with incorporating a little bit of lemon juice to help bring out some of those sugars. And respectfully to our fantastic frost elf over there," and sort of looks in the direction of Ilya. Well, cornstarch is a perfectly valid way to ensure that there will be no sogginess. I prefer tapioca personally. It does much of the same thing, and we have it in stock, so I thought I would try going with that instead. And you watch as she's in the midst of making the pie dough, you see like a little tear in reality happen where she pulls out what looks like a giant like glass bottle that can chill things for an appropriate amount of time. She says, this is one of my special little treats I pulled from the dream world. It allows me to cool things for a much faster period of time than would happen in this realm. So you have to make sure whenever you're making any sort of dough, you chill it appropriately. Otherwise, it won't turn out very well. Sadly, I can't put anything much bigger or anywhere near the size of a person in here, but you know, you make do with what you can. Thank you. I'm very glad that I am not currently the size to fit in that container. And that is all of our bakes, and let's see how these are all going to turn out. So, now comes the fun part of, does anyone want to assist at this time one another in their bakes?
Lord Oggiebottom would like to go over to the amazing guest and just goes like, my dearest bloke, I am very interested in your feats that you accomplish with your mere hands. They remind me of an old friend of mine. I don't know if you are familiar with the amazing Mr. Fell. He was active during the war. It's a long time ago, I know. But can I maybe assist you in some way with your magicry? I could, for example, change myself into a bat and fly out of your little box.
Oh, well, last time someone said that to me, I had an excellent night. Do you know what I mean? No. All right, yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. Let's give it a go. Sounds like a bit of fun. Why not? I'm up for a lark, me. Or a bat, indeed.
So I'm guessing you're going for a presentation here, Tom. Do I have that right?
Yeah, that was a shit idea, but I will try it anyway. I just noticed my modificator for that one.
Oh no.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Everything's coming up, Gaz.
Gaz, our other individual in our community named Gaz, if you're watching this, know that every praise of you that Michelle does, every praise of her own character Michelle does is a praise of you, because it's equally appropriate.
So you will be delighted because I just rolled a 5 and a 6 minus 2. That's still a 9. So that's very nice.
Wait, what? Say that again? What?
I rolled a 5 and a 6. I've got a -2 modificator on presentation, so that is still a 9.
6? Oh, you rolled a 5 and a 6. For a second, I thought you said you had rolled a total of 6, and I was like, how did -2
Sorry.
get you to 9? I'm very confused. I didn't hear the 5. That was my fault. I needed a second to be like, I know maths are hard, but however. So that is a 9. So because of that, no need to apologize. The player you aided will gain a +1 bonus to their Bakeoff roll. So the amazing Gaz, you will have a +1 to your roll.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, it's gonna be great. She's gonna love this.
Fantastic. So does anyone else want to help each other and do an assist roll?
I am still observing, and I am vaguely put off by all of these suggestive comments about each other's bakes. So no, I'm going to leave you all to marinate in your own juices for now.
Oh. Not enough coffee in the world.
Oh,
Shelby's just face journey throughout these entire 2 rounds, and Meg's just general laughter just dying in the corner is possibly one of my favorite things I've had in a while. So Nady is choosing not at this time to help either. So I believe that's all the assist rolls. So remember, it going off of flavor, we now do the bake-off roll. So 2d6 plus flavor. If you've used your ingredient, add a +1. If you've used your brand of magic, use another one. Roll, and then I will call for whoever did 10, then 7 to 9, then 6 and below. So roll them dice, everybody. I'm very happy that I did this because mine was almost a 7. Just barely. So 10 or above. Did anybody get 10 or above? Oh, we have double. So
Oh wait,
both of you are
do I get a +1 from the assist?
yes.
Then yes, I did too.
Oh, Jesus
Nice.
Christ. That's
God, I'm
3
just
people.
bombing this round. Oh no.
Okay, so 3 people are front runners this round. We will resolve that shortly. So why don't we start with the amazing Gaz? Narrate the witch's delight in your bake. So, what is it?
Right, so what we've got here, got a magic box, and there's a delicious pie in there, but I'm gonna need a little bit of help. So as you can see, nothing up my sleeve, nothing up this sleeve, no. And in the box there's a pie, just a normal pie, nothing else. Close the box, and I'm gonna need you, my lovely witch, to give me a magic word. Magic word.
Obliterate.
Oh, excellent choice. That's terrifying. Right. And here we go. Open the box. And a oddly moist bat flies out.
Oh.
Couldn't resist, Meg. I'm so sorry. Flutters around the witch's head and flaps away. And whatever her opinion on that is, there's no denying that dang, this not pig pie tastes good. You know? Some people need a bit of convincing about, can veggie food be just as good? This pie will convince you.
I am reminded of time with my love, who I wish to see more than anything else. And normally in these moments this would sadden me, but you have brought me a spark of happiness in my
Aw.
moment of longing.
Well, you know what? That's genuinely lovely. Oh, I'm happy I could do that for you.
Don't get
Gen-
used to it.
Sincerely. Oh, okay, all right. Well, all right then. Bye. Sorry.
Carries on to the next baker. It's just like, you did wonderful. That is all. That is all the kindness I'll offer you.
Right. Yep. Sorry. Great.
All of a sudden, just like the spirit of Paul Hollywood just enters into her and then just slowly leaves.
Slides off.
So carrying on from the momentary possession by the anti-Guy Fieri, we go over to Yulia. You also rolled a 10 or above, correct?
yes.
Yulia, describe to us the delight the witch has in your work.
Starting with the perfectly chilled, perfectly flaky crust of the pie, because I understand, as Nady pointed out, the importance of a well-chilled pie dough. So, perfectly flaky crust, perfectly kneaded, with just the most immaculate crimping around the edges. The delicate green apple slices arranged like flower blossoms inside the tart. The spices, again, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of sugar, allspice, but something unexpected, grains of paradise, for a little bit of a peppery zest that pairs perfectly with the apples. And then, of course, the flash-frozen apple blossoms on top to add a little bit of natural beauty to a flavorful masterpiece.
My dear, the only thing I can say about this is that I'm reminded of myself whenever I taste it, and of my beloved. If you are interested in a conversation about your future in baking after this whole thing is settled, let me know.
I am honored. Thank you.
We shall see if I will rescind that invitation later. Carries on. Lord Augibottom, describe your bake, although I am hesitant as the person me to let you do this. Go ahead.
So from somewhere outside of the baking facility, basically the direction where the bat has flown, a slightly dripping Lord Augibottom comes rushed into the tent and picks up his bake from the counter of his baking station. And on the way to the judgment area, it is already dripping with syrup on the floor, and he has to be very careful to not slip on the ground because it is already overflowing with the orange syrup on the cake. And he presents it to the witch and going like, oh, well, here is your orange syrup pie, and I've got you a little scoop of vanilla ice cream and a nice Greek cup of coffee with it, so it will, in your mouth, create that amalgamation of wonderful, creamy, and melting and drooling capacity of flavorful combination, and it will taste like anything you have ever tasted before. I'm telling you.
Yulia's reaction is me as a person right now. I feel this very deeply down to my soul.
These words should never be arranged together in the context of food.
You just see the witch trying to at the same time eat this cake that is basically slipping out of her hands, and drinking coffee, having melting ice cream, and her whole face is basically smeared in the food because there is no way to eat that in a clean way whatsoever, because it's a menace. Basically, it's so chaotic to eat that kind of food, but it seems to taste quite good in the combination of all those flavors.
To my great dismay, I feel as though I must say, exquisite.
Thank you very much, my dear. That it was to taste.
Never tip your hat to me ever again. Just carries on. That was a reaction for me as a person. I was like, that was so close to the milady gesture.
No.
I was just like, no, I must reject this from my soul and well-being. No. But so, Lizzie, did you say that you got 7 to 9 or below that?
7 to 9.
7 to 9. So why don't I let you take the next one? So moving on to 7 to 9, disappointment. You're fine. You make it. But disappointment. What happened?
So in front of Lizzie is this tray of mini heart-shaped lemon meringue pies. The crust looks excellent, and when you cut into it, that yellow is just the right light, delicate yellow, and it is set properly. Unfortunately, the ratio of meringue, because the spirits got just a little too aggressive on whipping that up and having a little bit too much fun with the brulee torch. It is definitely more of a like 5 parts to 1, so you're eating a lot of just meringue before you finally get that delicate lemon taste. And I am so sorry for that. But you know, we wanted it to taste and feel like a cloud, and I think we just went a little too far.
You have succeeded in making this taste like a cloud. Unfortunately, it was a rainy day. It just carries on from there. you just start hearing like sad, moody music just appear out of nowhere. Like it's on cue and there's a band that's playing somewhere for some reason. Very
Bangs just
startling.
slowly start going in front of my face.
It still does the cutaway to the kids in the crowd that suddenly appeared here, and it's just like, believe in you, Mom. You're gonna do it.
Just miss my baby so much.
I'm gonna cry and laugh at the same time. I have so many feelings happening at this moment.
Sorry.
So to keep mine simple for Nades, it's not that it turned out. It's not that all the ingredients individually turned out poorly. Like everything worked and it was going to be fine. However, unfortunately, when she opened up the little portal to grab the item from the dream realm, a small little ghastly spirit appeared and snuck in, and right at the last minute ruined the very delicate lattice work by just scampering across while she was trying to catch it to get it to chuck it back into the dream realm. So the presentation just did not land. The spirit was hijinks everywhere, and it just did not work out to her favor. It would seem your dream of a perfect pie has become a nightmare. Unfortunate. Just the look of Nady just slowly pulling out like a little magic wand she has and just muttering to herself, I could do it. I know I could do it. But choosing not to. She's like, I want that spatula, damn it. So we get into trying to award our Archbaker. Now we have 3 frontrunners for this occasion. So to award this properly, all 3 of you need to roll 2d6 plus magic. The player with the highest roll is awarded Archbaker, and the other players will be safe for the round. So all of you roll 2d6 plus magic.
I got 7.
7. Okay.
I've got 8.
Julia.
8.
So that will eliminate Gaz from the running for that. I would like the 2 of you who remain, 2d6 plus magic, one more time. Let us see.
Just a 5.
11.
Nice.
Oh.
Jesus. That is a win. Yulia, you have been awarded Archbaker for next round, which we will get partially through, and then we are going to go to a break. But as we have the vibe of this, we can keep things going at a nice little brisk pace. So, Archbaker, remember, +2, 0, and -2 for your stats, Yulia, being the Archbaker. Let us carry into our 3rd round, which on this occasion is going to be a classic, a fan favorite, and one which will show your deft skill and ability to plan something a little bit more exciting, a gingerbread construction of your choice. So, as we did before, everyone, move your stats around to where you want them to be. Now, our Archbaker, roll a d6 and determine what the criteria is going to be.
I got a 2.
A 2 means that this one will be based on presentation. So, everyone gets a moment, describe to figure out what your bakes are going to be, figure out what fantastic thing you are going to come up with, and we will describe them each in turn. So, to give everyone some time, I'm going to go with Nades first, who Nady will say, so I've decided to go a little bit less on the magic side for once. And I'm going to try and just do what I do best, which is be a BAMF and manage something fantastic on my own. So I've decided to make a little home inspired by the locales in my original play realm of residence and making a little bit of a landscaped home. And you watch that she also pulls out these little like molds where where it looks as though on the side, on the stovetop, she's melting chocolate, and it looks as though she's going to try and melt the chocolate and then solidify them in molds to then form a little rocky landscape pathway leading up to a little gingerbread home that the panels and all of the walls are being stuck together with a kind of strawberry icing in order to be used as sort of glue. And also the alternating pattern for actual slices of strawberry are going to make a sort of thatched roof pattern all across the top of it. So that is Nadie's bake. Let's pass it on over to Lizzie. Lizzie, what are you going to make for us on this occasion?
So as you come to Lizzie's station, you see a lot of things just moving on their own whisks, sitting there starting to get the icing ready. The icing is just a combination. It's a very simple one of vampire saliva and powdered sugar. And then we're going to use different fruit infusions to give it just a little bit of flavor, but mostly we just want to get it ready to start the construction. And over here, you can see she's got some what looks like checkered paper out as she's drawing models to make size her gingerbread. I'm going to try to make a working replica of the kids' play set in our backyard. And because we live in Southern California, we don't get a lot of snow. So we're going to add some snow to the top and some just wonderful Christmas decorations. But the goal is to have some moving swings and hopefully one of those little things that go around in circles that can move. So yeah, got a lot of things going on over here. So I've got my spirits getting things ready while I sit here and try to get the precision for my gingerbread bake.
Witch looks down, has like a very severe look on her face, but looks directly at you and says, "In all of my many centuries of existence, I have never wanted, at any given point, to have children, and the concept you have presented to me now has made my ovaries scream." And then just carry on from there over to Yulia.
Excited if I'm offended or
Uncertain. Very uncertain given the way.
uncertain.
You'll never know up until the very last moment whether or not it's a compliment or something to be feared. But Yulia, why don't you give us a description of your bake?
For my gingerbread construction this holiday season, you can never really go too far without feeling the presence of my grandfather. So, for this, I'm going to use my special apple spice infused gingerbread to recreate this photograph of my first holiday trip with my grandfather. I will also use frozen sugar elements to provide a special sort of winter wonder to it. As you can see, there are all of the snowflakes and it's all very delicate and beautiful, but the showpiece will be his ornate, intricate robe, which has been embroidered by 100 frost spirits using special enchanted needles. I will attempt to replicate that in gingerbread.
Though my heart warms typically only for my partner, I cannot help but feel a stirring in it when I hear the tale of such a sentimental and wonderful piece. To the amazing Gaz. And you see the witch has now taken over hosting duties and is like, does not say with any level of mockery, the amazing Gaz.
Oh well, right. Well, it's funny you mention your your grandfather, Yulia, because I've kind of been inspired by my nana actually. God rest her soul. She was a religious woman. She was a religious woman, and that was never really my bag. But this time of year, she liked me to go to service with her, and it was beautiful. Them stained glass windows with the snow fluttering down. So I've kind of tried to recreate the beautiful stained glass windows in the building that she used to like to go to, and I've got a really strong ginger flavor in my gingerbread, nice and spicy, nice and hot. So to sort of counterbalance that, I've made a lychee syrup. Lychees. Oh, there you go, And he grabs a lychee and puts one under a little paper cup, and he puts two more and starts going, oh, which one's it gonna be? Oh, that one? No. That one? No.
It like has the look of like is not amused, but she doesn't pick the right one.
No. But then when she picks up the last one, just far too many lychees just go. How do they all get all there? Magic, isn't it? Anyway, so I'm gonna try and sort of set this lychee jelly and use different food colorings to make a lovely, pretty winter scene through the windows of my building. So, yeah, lychee. I'll have to pick them up now, won't I? All right, I better get on.
You are a credit to those of us for whom magic is something we pursue with all earnestness.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I've always
Moves
thought so.
over.
Eh?
Moves over to Lord Doggybottom. What have you prepared for us on this occasion?
Well, so for this bake, I wanted to honor my homeland, actually, the wonderful Great Britain. And I first thought of constructing a crypt for this occasion. But when I tried this out at home, there was entirely too much decomposing going on. So I instead decided to create a wonderful British church. I am making this out of a blackened gingerbread, and I will create some orange caramelized windows in the mosaic for those. So we have those wonderful Victorian church windows in it. I have made cobwebs out of fairy floss, I think it is called. I heard different name for it when I was traveling Australia. And also I've made these gargoyles out of sugar, and to add a little bit of that Britain flavor. I mean, if you just present it like this, it could be standing everywhere, but I used my moist magic to create this wonderful miniature rain cloud that will continuously pour over the church and create the proper British atmosphere.
You've got us bang to rights there, actually. Yeah. It's a wet island. What can I say?
I don't know why the delivery on that got me. It's just so funny. It's a wet island. What it is. So with that being the case, we move to the all-important assist. Does anyone want to roll to assist one another?
I'm gonna turn to the Lord and ask, do you need help with placing any gingerbread crucifixes or anything? I can't imagine that would be fun burns for your hands.
That would be delightful. I can't really touch them, I tried to do it with some wooden spoons, but I was always fearful that it might not go well with my heart.
No, absolutely. Here, I'll happily place. Just tell me where you want them to go. And
just put it right there over the altar I made of marzipan, and please make sure that it's upside down. Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you very much. We don't want this thing to become holy, do we?
No.
Thank
Absolutely
you.
want you to be able to touch it when it's done and present it. So of course.
Thank you very much. I'm much obliged.
So
Lizzie, roll 2d6 plus. I'm assuming you're going for presentation. Do I have it here?
Yes.
So roll 2d6 plus presentation. Let me know what the result is.
Presentation 0. It's a 10.
10.
Nice.
You learned something too. Both you and the player you aided will gain a +1 bonus to your Bakeoff rolls. So in the process of helping Lord Ogibottom, you've also gained more skill with your own presentation skills. So you will take a +1 for the Bakeoff roll.
I did not realize
Very
that I could
nice.
turn an entire gingerbread holy, so I truly did learn something wonderful.
Nady will not say anything, but will very casually reach a hand into the dream realm, pull what looks like a small dusting of magical snowflakes that are able to actually capture and bend light to their will whenever they pull in light around them. And she just very casually, while fluttering about the kitchen, she passes by the amazing Gaza's display, just flicks it over there, and now is creating like a stained glass window effect with the way that the light is peering through. So she's going to try and to assist with presentation.
Oh,
Which was good. It appears as though she found a particularly helpful spirit because I rolled 11 on that one. So we are both
hey.
going to get a bonus on that.
Nice.
Awful good of you. I'm sure you just did it because it somehow would destroy me eventually, you know. But good of you. Good of you.
Like just flutters up to you. And again, I haven't mentioned that she's really only like 3 feet tall. So she's not actually that big. She just flutters up to you. Speak of this to no one.
Oh, a magician never reveals his secrets, eh?
Yes. So, with all of that sorted, unless Yulia, you would also like to do an assist roll, or are you still standing back and observing?
I am going to very calmly, coolly, if you will, approach our vampire slayer. And I'm going to look at her gingerbread construction and very delicately, you will see sugar icicles hang from the swing set that
Aw.
sparkle with frozen magic to add an extra festive dimension.
My boys would love this.
Every
So-
child deserves good memories for the holidays.
Yulia, roll 2d6 plus the thing you are invoking in this moment. Tell me what your result is.
Presentation.
Presentation. So, what is your result?
Let's see here. Also an 11.
Heck yeah.
Jesus. Okay, so Yulia,
Tough
you get a
round.
+1 to your bake. Lizzie, you get a +1 to your bake. So, with all of that happiness and all of that good, slow growing cheer and attitude of helping one another, I want everyone to roll your Bake-Off one. Remember, it's 2d6 plus the criteria for this round is going to be presentation. And then add the +1 that you, if you have any additional ones for either using assist in getting 10 or above, if you've used your School of Magic, and if you've used your signature ingredient. Once you all have your results, we are going to reveal those after the break. We are going to leave that on a nice little cliffhanger for that, because we are at our break time, and we are halfway through this fantastic baking one-shot where we have so many good characters, so much good cheer and vibes, and we'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes, folks. We will see you shortly. Please tune back in, and remember, avoid soggy bottoms, not to be confused with Lord Ogibottom, which is not at all a pun, at all. We'll see you very shortly, folks. Take care. Hello there, lovelies. It's good to be back. It's good to have you all here again. We are so glad to be bringing you more fantastic, wonderful winter bake-off goods here on Girls Run These Worlds for our Great Lich's Bake-Off one-shot we are doing here. We're finishing up the third round as we all, prior to going to our break, had just rolled the results for our bake-off. And now we shall reveal them. So, 10 or above. Did anybody manage a 10 or above? Oh, Jesus. Apparently, the dice god said, "Fine, I'll be nice today." So let's do this, right? Julia, why don't you start us off? It looks fantastic. What has caused the witch delight on this occasion with your bake?
It is not just the small details, but just the overall warm mood of the scene. I have managed to perfectly recreate the small details, not only on the robe, but the faint twinkle in Dietmarose's eyes as he rests his hand on his granddaughter's shoulder. This is a nearly perfect edible representation of a very perfect, albeit non-edible moment.
I have not cried fully outside of time with my partner in many a year. This has produced one tear for me. Well done. Moving over to Lizzie. How did your bake turn out so exquisitely? What happened here?
So, as you come up to Lizzie's station, there is a 2-foot tall replica of what looks like two climbing towers with swings in between. The one on the left side has a spiral slide coming down, and off the right is one of the little merry-go-rounds. And after a moment, you don't see the spirit, but one comes through and gently causes the swings to move back and forth and the merry-go-round to slowly start to turn, and all the little snowy, twinkly icicles to just move ever so slightly to put you in a nice wintry wonderland of a kid's playground.
I spoke previously of my ovary screaming. In truth, it was with joy, for now, perhaps I too will be blessed as you have, to have those who give me a reason to create such beauty. I miss
Thank
my
you.
girlfriend so much.
I can imagine I miss my wife.
Carries on, moves over to the amazing Gaz. What have you prepared for us on this occasion that has landed successfully and amazed so many of us?
Gaz doesn't do any more tricks as he presents this one. He's just genuinely so pleased with it. This beautiful little gingerbread church, and it's not a fancy Gothic church. It's a very simple church that he remembers going to in his little town with his nana, and it's really the colourful windows elevated by the beautiful snowfall that Nadie provided that just has really perfectly captured that childlike joy that little young Gary felt seeing snow falling through stained glass windows. And yeah, his eyes are sparkling with, oh, it's just like I wanted it to be. And it just brings everyone that sense of trudging through a small town at the wintry time of year as the snow falls.
Truly, I am reminded of when I too was a child and delighted in the wonder and magic of the winter time. Brilliantly done. 7 to 9 results. That would be the both of us. Or Doggy Bottom. What is disappointing about how yours turned out?
Yes, well, Lord Oggy created a very fine, unholy church looking delightful with that Victorian glasses made of orange and stuff. And when he carries it over to the judgment area, there is this wonderful dark rain cloud following the Bake wherever he goes. He just hadn't thought of one thing. If you have the rain cloud on too long, things might get really soggy, which is a nice thing indeed, but it also leads to the church looking a little bit crumbled, which in fact is actually a good metaphor for the state of the British Empire in the 21st century. But it is maybe not what you want to see at the Bakeoff tent. So this is slightly disappointing, but still a rather beautiful old ruined church.
Snaps all around. Snap, snap.
Ah, fantastic. I will say simply, for Nadia's situation, it was a matter of everything on the strawberry end worked out fine. She's not as practiced with working with chocolate as she thought she would be, and it just kind of looked like lumps assembled along a little pathway. So it's not quite as pristine in presentation such as it could be. So here is the deal, folks. This does not happen very often. On eliminating a competitor, because I forgot to mention we did get rid of the other NPC that was available at the end of last round. I forgot to do it. Poor soul. Utensils didn't work out. But the situation for rules is if all players were front runners or were safe, and there are still NPCs in the competition, then the NPC will be eliminated. However, if all NPCs are eliminated, then a player needs to be eliminated even if they are all front runners or safe. So everyone needs to roll 2d6 plus magic. The lowest number will be eliminated. Roll them dice, folks. Ten or above. 9 or above. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4.
We may die.
Yeah.
It
What a
would appear
nightmare.
as though my time here is at an end. But I have learned much in my time here. And I wish all of you the best in everything that you hope to accomplish and all that you do. I will leave gracefully, which is a first for me. This is a lot to process, and in my own time, I will come to understand the lesson to be imparted for me here. I wish you all well, and see you in your dreams. Goodbye. Just flies away.
Ended on a threat.
Genuinely terrifying.
Started with a threat, ended with a threat. How it's gotta be, folks. But Nady is eliminated, so the next round will only have the 4 of you competing in it. So here we go, folks. Now, we had 3 people who were front runners for Archbaker, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So the 3 of you roll off to determine who is going to be our Archbaker. So this is going to be, once again, 2d6 plus magic. This is a roll off to see which one of you is crowned the best of the best.
I got a 9.
I got a 5.
I got an 8.
Oh.
Nice job, Gary.
Oh, I feel a bit bad, to be honest. Couldn't have done it without Nadie. I'll say thank you when she shows up in one of my many nightmares. Oh.
I'm very glad that I don't sleep.
I forgot about that part.
I sleep with both eyes open, so she will have to try very hard.
And an axe underneath your pillow, probably.
I do not, like our good friend, the amazing Gaz, I do not reveal my secrets.
Yes.
So, folks,
When did they become
truly,
friends?
truly could not have picked a better set of people to be playing off of each other. So, we are going to move on to our 4th round, folks. So, for our 4th round, we are going to be going into where is my list? Where's my goddamn list of stuff? There it is. Be taking a little bit of a left turn from what might be traditionally thought of as a bake and going into a little bit of a fun thing with waffles. So, going into waffles.
Awful week.
So put a comment I read in the chat. Oh god, and I have kids, so I don't sleep either. So Lizzie is safe.
Lizzie's
Bottom
just
is
over
safe.
there be like, sleep. That was a thing at one point. That was the thing.
God
Also,
bless.
many dreams. I'm sorry, many dates with my wife in my dreams. Those prophetic dreams are very nice to walk through each other's. Anyways.
So let us begin as we always do. Let's assign those stats. So our Archbaker, remember, +2, 0, and -2. Assign them now to presentation, flavor, and magic. Once you have them all set down, Archbaker, do us the pleasure of rolling a d6 to determine what our criteria for this round is going to be.
Hey. 4.
4. It will be on flavor. So, everyone, let's take a moment. Just get it out there. Think about what you're going to do for your bakes. Think of how you might incorporate your magic. Think of how your specialty ingredient may play a critical role in the process. And while that's happening, you do see near all of the baking stations for all the contestants what appears to be little bits of fairy sparkles and dust, as though some lingering presence of Nadie has somehow crept its way still in this realm.
Oh no.
I thought we were safe. Oh.
Can I get a rag out and clean my counter really quick?
Every time you do, the sparkles increase in intensity.
All right,
It's like
I do
glitter.
It once. I do it once, and then I realize I've got kids. I've seen this happen. It's fine. I can cook around it. It'll be okay.
You see
I-
on. Sorry.
Go ahead.
You see on Sir Oggy Bottom's desk, like the glitter has built a paste, like a slimy paste, because of all the liquid that is going up on there. There's just this glittery goo going on the baking station.
For those of you who know the Nickelodeon slime like
Yes.
fall thing, that's all I can think about now in relation to Augie Bottom. So thank you for that cursed thought.
I am going to take the sharpening steel out of my knife set and hope that it has enough iron in it, and I'm going to place it prominently on my baking station
Physics.
Like
as a warning.
I love this. I love this so much. Carrying on. let us start with the amazing Gaz. Why don't you describe your bake to us? What are you doing with the theme of waffles?
So to go over to Gaz, he is finally chopping red chili peppers. And he says, nah, you might be thinking, chili peppers and waffles. What you doing, Gaz? But I've got a plan. I've always got a plan. Man with a plan. That's me, Gaz. So I'm going for a mango topping on my waffles. And I thought, what goes go with mango? Spicy and sweet, just like my Shaz. So we're having a chili waffle with a mango topping. It's going to be delicious. And will there be any magic? Wait and see.
I had a fair share of red hot chili peppers in my time.
For no reason whatsoever, a funk bass line begins playing in the background. I don't know why. So, going from that, let us go over to Julia. What are you making for us on this occasion?
Well, as I have alluded to, I do help my grandfather in spreading holiday cheer to families all around our country. And that takes a long time, and we are out in the cold. So we do need a good hearty snack. And I am going to prepare what I usually bring. It is an apple spice oat nut waffle with a warm buttery caramel dipping sauce. It sounds kind of stodgy, but you do need the carbs and you do need the fiber to give you energy as you go throughout the night. And it pairs very well with a warm apple cider.
Exquisite. Lizzie, describe to us your bake.
Well, as you can see, we've got a bit of a mess going on here. So I have some of the spirits over there making what is going to be a rosemary cranberry orange marmalade that'll go great on top of our waffles. The waffles are based on the first Christmas my sister and I had without our mom, and she ended up screwing up my mom's sausage roll recipe. I don't know if you've ever had those, but they're pretty simple. It's just sausage and cheese and pancake mix. And so it ended up being too much mix. And so thus we started creating these like sausage biscuits, but instead of biscuits, they're these cheddar waffles. And then you just put the marmalade on top. So we've got sausage patties going over there. And I'm over here preparing the cheddar batter, getting it ready to put into the waffle maker.
Never before have I hungered for meat of such an exquisite nature.
I'm delighted to hear that. I hope it lives up to your standards.
Last but certainly not least, Lord Oggybottom. Sir Oggybottom, pardon. What are
So
you making?
I understand that we British people are not particularly fond of the French, but as there is one thing I can't get enough of, I decided to take a broader approach on the whole waffle topic, and I will be making a fantastic crêpe Suzette. And as you can already see, as I have already gotten the dough ready, and here this is my mixture, this thing will be dripping in fluid. We will have molten butter, we will have orange zest, we will have orange liquor, and we will have cognac on that, and so that it will just, it basically floats. The crêpe, the dough is basically floating inside that soup of other wonderful liquors. You can basically take a spoon and just feed that to yourself, and it is magnificent. And I created the speciality of my particular kind of magic, moist magic. I created this liquid fire, so I can set on fire the alcohol that is going into my mixture, and it will be safe to consume and also deliciously liquid. So I hope this will have the power to I don't want to say make the witch wet, but definitely definitely make her all the pleasantly surprised.
Nope, you have to say voice. Come on now. You
That
made
is-
this bit.
That is so inappropriate.
Or it was just a chat, and as a bisexual woman, that really upsets me. See, the problem is that I can't fault Tom in the situation, not Augibottom, Tom the player, because I just looked up Crepe Suzette. They are quite, for lack of a better term, very moist. Like
Yeah.
the description was
Yeah.
very apt. It's just cursed. It's all that it is after that. It's apt yet cursed, and I hate that.
He had me at liquid. Ugh.
So
I'm sure it will be spectacularly terrifying in its own way.
I'm sure you are drenched in anticipation. Anyways, carrying on.
No. I
Hey, I'm out
remain
of-
frigid.
I've actually embraced celibacy as a result of this game. Carrying on. So we now move to the portion of the round of rolling moves. Now, does anyone want to assist someone else in this?
Yeah, I think the amazing Gaz will head over to Yulia's part of the kitchen and kind of I recently learned that we're very good friends, which I was taken aback by, to be honest. It's difficult to read that you're doing there yet. So I was just wondering, since we're friends, I chopped up a bit too much chili pepper, and I thought, I know you're all about the chili, eh? Well, I just thought because you're quite a cold, not in person.
I
really,
see what you
just
did there. Continue.
yes, wonderful. Because of how you're cold in temperature, although not in temperament. You're a lovely person. Well, I just thought you might want to incorporate some heat, change it up a bit in your dipping butter. I thought that might be a bit fun. So I just thought I'd give you that in case you wanted to try it. You know, no pressure. No.
I think that will be an interesting addition. Thank you.
Oh, good, lovely. All right, then I was gonna go warm up by the oven because it's.
Please take some of this cider. You can use it
Oh,
to
that sounds
warm
so
up a
good.
little bit.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh, thank you.
For those of
Scampers
you,
back over.
for those of you who are assisting, you know the drill. 2d6 plus whatever criteria you're working, plus whatever you are using to help support.
Mhm.
Tell me what your result is after your roll.
9.
9. So you successfully managed to give a +1 to Yulia's bake. So Yulia, you will have a +1 for your bake this round.
And with the cider, that is for flavor.
Alrighty.
So yes, that will be an 8. I can
So
do
you
math.
both have helped each other successfully to get a
Oh.
+1 to your bake. Augibottom, Lizzie, are you
Yes.
also going to roll? To support? Okay.
I'm heading over to Lizzie's table and just going, this whole business of being a vampire hunter, does that go well together with being a single mother?
I'm not a single mother. I have a wife.
Oh,
We're
I
both
just-
retired vampire hunters, but we also understand that not all vampires are vicious. I mean, you seem to really like your oranges. That seems to be like the thing you attack the most. So like if you're worried here, we're cool. Becoming more Alexis.
As I am still alive after 3 rounds here, I am not that worried about my well-being. Not as much as I am worried about yours. I mean, single mother, double single mother. We vampires are raised in communes, and one of the benefits of living forever is that we have all the time to grow and become adults, even if we are not of age when we are turned vampires. But I think I have something that might help you to get along with that hard topic of raising those vividly alive human beings that you call children. And Lord
Yes.
Oggy Bottom is just it is basically for flavor, but he just suggests like he's putting that huge glass of cognac just in front of Lizzie and just goes do with that whatever you like.
Not even for the bake. Just here's a bottle of cognac. Good luck, bud.
I think she's just gonna kind of look at him and, without breaking eye contact, pick up the bottle and just take a giant swig and set it, then pour a little bit in the marmalade and set it back down.
I respect her fortitude.
I just the
And
double
that will
single
be
malt.
Double single.
What did you roll? Bottom.
an 11.
An 11. Oh, wow. So you've helped each other in that case. So
Nice.
you have learned something. So you will also have a +1 for your roll.
I
I
think
learned
the,
something about
for
parenthood.
many years, but we may need to discuss the concept of wives and like co-parenting. But I appreciate your concern for my kids and that you're not trying to turn them into vampires, I think. But they've got a great community of people. They've got a great grandfather that really just kind of, had to deal with my energy growing up. And they can't be worse than that. At least they can't break him.
I'm sure they will just turn out fine. And if they ever need some travel advice, or I can maybe make arrangements for a year abroad or something, then just hit me up.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. And she grabs the bottle, takes another swig, and sets it back down.
Aren't
I
you
think,
having a bit much?
as
Oh
a-
no, I have this. I have this every other night. Don't worry. It keeps me going.
as Lord Oggy heads over to his station, I'll sort of on the way past be like, "Oh, don't worry, Lord S. I did also think a wife was dead because she mentioned she's missed her about 16 times.
Which
If
is
I,
not
if I
something
mentioned
that
she
much.
has that much, then you'd think there's something wrong with me as well. But I'm just a respectful level of wife guy.
Praise
I
respectful level. Yeah.
I'm not very accustomed to those things of missing somebody. I basically have an acquaintance of some sort in every country I'm traveling to, so I don't occupy myself too much with missing anyone in particular, but I think that might just be the story of the years I'm living on this planet.
Oh, well, you've got lots of acquaintances here in this country or realm or, extra dimensional space, wherever we are. So that's nice.
That is very pleasant, I have to say.
Yeah.
So, right before we get to the bake-off round, I will say that very randomly, some of these sparkles that Lizzie has been trying to get rid of from her station suddenly come alive and just flow over, and they dot some of the final presentation on the waffles themselves, and they begin to beautify them and sparkle them up just a little bit more pleasantly, because I'm making use of a mechanic called interference. You can attempt to help even after your elimination once per round. Choose a player to benefit from your interference and narrate how your efforts have made the competition easier for them. The player aided will gain a +1 bonus to their bake-off roll for this round. That's it. No other catch to it, unless you roll a 6 or below in your bake-off round. And then
Okay.
the only negative will be that I can't help you next round.
So who did you help? Sorry.
Lizzie.
This is perfect. Okay,
So now,
thank you.
bake-off, folks. 2d6 plus flavor. Let us get into it. Everyone roll, and then I shall do the announcements.
Was darn close.
10 or above. Okay. Yulia, how has this turned out spectacularly for you? What about the bake has succeeded so well?
The waffles are the perfect crispness. The apple wedges inside them contribute comfort. But I have managed to preserve them from Lord Augibottom's moistness, so they do not dampen the waffles too much. There is that little bit of comfort from the spices as well, but thanks to Gaz's intervention or assistance, there is that bit of pep in the caramel butter sauce that juxtaposes perfectly with the warm, comforting sweetness of the apple. It is something that will nourish not only your body, but your spirit on a cold winter's night as you are spreading joy to your community.
Watch as the magic sort of spreads out from just how fantastic this has been, and you see that the enchantment, the almost like thin but permeable but impermeable barrier that's been keeping the witch contained here is beginning to crack in different places. The enchantment will be nearly broken after this one. So, Lizzie, how does yours succeed so well, so wonderfully?
At the last minute, Lizzie decides to put the marmalade on the inside of the sandwich rather than on top, so to keep the crispy cheddar outside. And when you take a bite of this this waffle sausage sandwich, it has the perfect amount of just savory from the rosemary and sausage and cheddar, but just enough sweetness too from the maple of the sausage and the orange and cranberry marmalade. It tastes almost as if it's a holiday morning and just like it's going to get you through all that gift opening that you're going to have to do.
If ever there was something that made me feel like I need to sit down for a long period of time in comfort and joy and a full belly, it is this. Thank you. 7 to 9. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one after this. So, Augibottom, what has occurred that was not so great about your bake?
Well, I had this wonderful liquid and moist presentation of crêpes Suzette, and I tasted them to perfection, and they were delicious and stunning. But what I hadn't accounted for with the magical flame I produced was that the witch is obviously emanating powdered cinnamon. So what happened when I brought this dish to the front was that the cinnamon obviously immediately caught fire, not only ruining my crêpes Suzette quite a bit, but also burning away the witch's eyebrows, which I think can't help in the judgment of my particular crêpe dish that I brought up.
Go over well at all.
I have had these eyebrows perfectly threaded for 300 years.
I'm ever so sorry.
You will be. And just walks away from yours. The amazing Gaz, what did not go so well about your final bake?
So, Gaz has made these spicy mango waffles and has added, reduced down the apple cider into a lovely apple cider syrup, which was just a really lovely addition, thanks to Yulia. So the flavor is good. Unfortunately, Gaz is back at it with the magic tricks. So wheels up a table that's ostentatiously covered with a ooh, bonking my microphone, covered with a tablecloth and has a top hat in the middle of it, and it's like, oh, I think there might be some waffles in here. Let's have a look. Reaches in all the way down to the shoulder. Oh, no, somewhere in here. Yeah, that's it. Pulls up a plate with a live white rabbit who hops away and immediately starts running around the kitchen. Oh, Pedro! Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, no. Pedro, no! Oh, he loves baked goods. He can't be contained. And there's a good, I'd say at least 10 minutes of Gaz chasing Pedro around before he manages to catch him. And put him safely back inside his little hutch, hidden inside this little table, and back in, pulls out the waffles, which by this point are just stone cold. The syrup has coagulated, and it's not a good time. However delicious they might have been once, not anymore. Also, what are those strange brown things around the edge of the plate? I don't know. It could be chocolate chips. Let's not worry. There you go. Waffles.
Very unsanitary baking show
This
we have created.
we have in fact in one session made the worst Bakeoff results we could have managed. I've never seen someone cringe back in their chair as much as I do, as I have in Shelby throughout this entire process. Great.
Let us hope that they are chocolate chips or maybe raisins.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
They
Oh, boy.
actually are.
Let's hope.
Bad guano.
Ugh.
No,
Oh, no.
no.
That's even
Fixing that one
worse.
right now. It is actually chocolate chips. I'm imagining that there's a snack sec compartment in the hat.
There definitely is. You know, it's just the correlation with having seen Pedro. It's not a good mental correlation.
Unfortunately, no.
No.
So, everyone was front runners or we're safe, and there are no NPCs. So, I need a roll of 2d6 plus magic from everyone left. The lowest one will be eliminated.
Ooh.
Ten or above. Okay.
Bye-bye.
I'll start a bit above it. Oh, but wait, yeah, you would be the
Yeah,
lowest one in that case,
yeah.
no matter what. So,
Don't have
Yeah.
to count that down.
so Lord Augiebottom, unfortunately, I think singeing off the eyebrows of your judge probably didn't earn you any favors, and regrettably, you are eliminated at this point in time.
It was an absolute pleasure being here with all of you. I can't wait to see who will win this particular thing, and I hope that I can see all of you again on one of my trips around this wonderful earth that we all call home, unless you have died already when I make my way back to your specific place of living already. In that case, I'm very sorry, but this thing happens. So, all the luck to you. And I brought my coffin. I will just lay down for a nap, I think.
You know, this is one of the only contexts, I think, in which the phrase "I brought my coffin" doesn't inspire fear. Other contexts, this would be horrifying to think about. This is just silly, and it's great. So,
Yeah, look me up if you're ever in Orchestershire, won't you? Yeah. Great to see
I'm
you.
mine. If it sometimes brings me out in the country. But
Yeah,
lovely
yeah.
places there, lovely places out there.
Oh,
A
absolutely.
lot of
Bring
sheep,
your,
I hear.
bring your anorak, or if you've got a sort of waterproof vampiric cloak. Don't know. Whatever suits you.
I will make sure that I bring someone I can hold over my head or something. I don't know.
Well, you know, different strokes, different folks, eh? Yeah.
on that note, so among the folks who were in the running for Archbaker for this round, so was that all three of you that rolled successfully for that? Or was it two of you?
Mhm.
I'm forgetting.
No, it was Lizzie.
Was it Lizzie and Yulia?
Yeah.
Oh, Yulia, yes. So the two of you, to determine final say on who is Archbaker, 2d6 plus magic. Whoever rolls higher, you will be awarded Archbaker.
I got an 11.
I got the 9.
There we go. So Lizzie, you are the Archbaker moving into our final round.
No pressure. No pressure. I can do this. Okay.
Once again, the camera, it's no longer a live feed. It's just doing the thing that animators do where they replay a section of a clip that they've already done. They just do the same one again, but somehow they've just changed the kid's shirt. So we move into the final round, which is a little bit different. We shall now take a moment to describe what's changed for the remaining contestants, which are 3 contestants. So, for the sake of time, I will describe everything that's been happening in this opulent lesbian cottagecore mansion that is occurring in an unspecified wintry domain.
Sorry.
All of the barrier has cracks all across it. She's trying to reach her hand through, and you see that there is this... there is an individual waiting for her specifically on the other side of the barrier. Has the look of an angelic figure. Massive individual, like good 7.5 feet tall, very well built individual. Even through all of the like warm wrappings and everything, has almost like gothic kind of makeup all across her face. And is just sort of like pounding against the barrier. And you see like has like a giant mace and is just like trying to crack against the barrier repeatedly, but it's not working. And you just see the witch is just like in this very beautiful like shawl and cloak and everything, and is just like pressing her hand against the edge of the barrier, and it's like soon. And it's like such a softness, such a tenderness that is in direct contrast to everything you've seen her show so far in terms of temperament. The final test for all of you. Craft an illusion cake. The highest caliber that you feel you can do. Truly perform a magic that no one has seen before here through your baked goods. Do this for me and let me see my love again. We move into the final round. So, everyone, assign your stats. Once you have those assigned, Lizzie, roll a d6 so we determine what the criteria will be.
It's a 4.
It will be based, perhaps appropriately so, on flavor. Take a moment to describe your bakes. There are 3 of you left. Take as much time as you need to describe your thought process for an illusion cake. Something that isn't quite what it appears to be, much like all of our competitors and even our wintry witch. Let us begin. Elia, what will you make for us?
Again, I am drawing my inspiration from home for this. When frost arrives early, it can create the most spectacular illusions around fruit in the orchard. Every once in a while, you will see apples hanging on the tree, where the dew has frozen into almost a glass shell that sparkles like diamonds. But you can still see the apple inside. And somehow, if you are very lucky, the flavor will come out of that apple even more crisp and refreshing than before. For my cake, and with all due respect to our dearly departed Sir Oggy I will be making a sponge. It will be a vanilla sponge that has been lightly infused with apple brandy. with a vanilla almond buttercream. And I will be using melted chocolate to form the shell, the outside, the skin of the apple. A beautiful, luscious red apple, as we think of from fairy tales, that is lightly dappled with spots. And then I will use my frozen sugar to create the shell around it. That wonderful, sweet, sparkling shell. Winter's first fruit.
Such beauty, such wonder from something many would greet with such fear. Breathtaking. Lizzie, what are you preparing for us for your illusion cake?
So, like, when I think of illusion cakes, I think of things that, like, look like other things, and I decided to make my wife's favorite crossbow. Also kind of in honor, I guess, of our vampire leaving, but, it will not actually shoot a stake or anything. It's won't it should work, but we're not gonna try to harm anybody here. But to do this, I think a good spice cake, which will, of course, be using the vampire saliva for any water-based, ingredients so that we can get just that good airy texture. We don't want the cake too dense. And, we're going to combine, totally blanking on all the flavor choices I was making, an almond extract, and chocolate ganache to go in the middle for all the layers, and we're gonna work really hard to try not to use any Rice Krispie treats in forming this, which has not been something I've successfully done yet. So we'll see how this goes. And then for the strings, we're gonna be playing with some, spun sugar. I'm gonna have, my spirits over there just, pulling it and seeing if we can get it to be that nice, beautiful black color and also the flexibility that, we can use for the crossbow, but I got a lot of things going on here, so we're gonna get back to it.
Truly a work of art in the making. I look forward to your final result.
Thank you.
The amazing Gas, who has been spectacular and fantastical throughout this entire competition. What do you bring to us for your final bake?
Wow, well, you are kind, aren't you? Oh, well, so all right. Well, seeing how much you love your partner, and it's made me think about our first holiday season together. Me and Shaz. We didn't have much money. We were in a little bed sit, and all we could get was the tiniest little tree to put in our window. And oh well, I mean, she won't settle for anything less than a 7-footer these days. But back then, that was all we had. So I thought I'd recreate that, a little cake in the shape of that little tree. So I've made a banana cake. I'm gonna make a banana cake. I've got it in the oven now. I'll have lots of little thin ones, and they'll get smaller and smaller into this shape. We'll have a chocolate icing to make the bark on the trunk there, and I'm doing some sugar work. Yeah, it's quite exciting. It's quite magical if I can pull it off, to be honest. So I'll do some blown sugar baubles with some coconut shavings inside to make little snowflakes, and some spun sugar tinsel too to make it all shiny and lovely, just like that little tree. It was all we needed. We had each other.
Sentiment of care and looking back on the best of times with one's love. Truly, my heart would break if it could. Now, we come to a little part in between of assist and interference. From the 3 remaining, do either of you want to help one another?
I am confident in the strength of my fellow bakers. I respect them, and I know that they will do well without my help.
That's a much nicer way of saying it than I was gonna. I was like, you're gonna beat me without my help. You don't need me to help you out anymore. Gosh, you can't just stick to mine for this final one, hey?
There are definitely a lot of moving parts here, and while I would like to step away to help out anybody in need, I just don't think I can at this point.
All right, then. So the assist will pass with no one taking that move. Bottom and Nady. Would either of us like to use interference to give a +1 to somebody, and each of us can describe how we choose to help that baker?
So there is a special sentiment I hold for people that come from my particular little spot of the earth. So I would very much like to help and interfere a little bit with the baking of my fellow British guy, bloke, whatever. You know it. And you just see that by magic means, with a little hand that wiggles out from a coffin and just does a little tingly motion, there appears a little water bucket underneath the tree. Like you always want your little plants to have enough moisture to really grow and blossom, and that is exactly what happens. As on the top of the little Christmas tree, there is blooming a wonderful red Christmas star.
Oh,
That particular cake of the wonderful finishing look that it deserves.
oh wow. All that just from a little finger wiggling. I've got to study up under you, honestly. I haven't got anything like that up my sleeves. Nothing up my sleeves, though.
I will say, despite the presence of the iron that is with the knife, you do see just appearing within a lot of the different ingredients for Julia's bake a little bit of like sparkles and magic, and you hear in your head, Julia, whatever dream you wish for in this moment to make reality, it will be yours. Julia, you may feel free to take a +1, and narratively, you may pull from the dream realm one thing to help support your bake.
I think I will bring forth some of that, I'm thinking edible diamond luster that I am going to very lightly sprinkle over the top of the chocolate shell before I put the frost glass sugar globe on it, just to add that extra magical shimmer and extra lifelike touch to the apple inside the ice.
And now, a moment of truth.
Can I suggest to make that even again and entirely
So
dependent
like
on the
damage
dice
through
roll,
that sword
can I
knight.
help Lizzie as well?
Normally, mechanically, it says no. However, rules are a suggestion, not an edict. Therefore, yes.
So Lord Oggybottom is stepping towards the table of Lizzie as well, and just has a look at the crossbow that is designed to slay his kind, and just goes, "Well,
Pretty
this is
good,
a
Twister.
magnificent weapon. It really demonstrates the strength and the prowl you developed during your career. But may I correct you on one particular detail? There is a big misconception about vampires, and that most people think that we hate garlic. That is not the case. Garlic is delicious. I have eaten many a garlic during my time in Greece, especially, and in Turkey. It was fantastic. But what vampires really don't like are Brussels sprouts. So if I may just help you here a tiny little bit, and I just with a sliver of my hand, I just sprinkle a little bit of Brussels sprout syrup over the tip of the arrow that is in the crossbow. So this will make it much more effective, and I think this will just give you the last bit of realism that you need for this baked gear. Good luck.
I have
And I will.
I worked in my profession for almost 10 years and have definitely had 10 years out of it. And this is the first I've heard of how vampires react to Brussels sprouts. I truly thank you for this knowledge and will pass it on to future generations.
You're welcome. I will slumber now again.
It sinks back into it. So, with all of that thrown in, all of that support, all the interference, everyone who remains, 2d6 plus flavor. Roll them dice. Lizzie, what was your result?
12.
Yulia, what was your result?
12.
Hmm.
Amazing Gaz, what was your result?
You're not gonna believe this.
What?
Well,
First any one shot I've run with this. That's never happened. You know
Alright.
what?
It's incredible.
Question for the table. We do not have to do this. I'm just proposing a suggestion. Do you want to all be crowned the winners of the competition?
Absolutely.
oh,
The three of you. The three of you who remain.
Yes.
Sure.
yes.
So I would like to leave it up because the last round, the way that it works is normally the player with the highest bake-off roll will describe. Normally this game is played with an award ceremony where the phylactery is destroyed. And in order to accomplish that, you need a total of successes, so 10 and above, that are equal to the number of players minus 1.
Okay.
However, you all murdered that by like the third round, so I wasn't even worried about the enchantment breaking at any point because people rolled like gods in this one. So, with that being the case, I would like for the three of you to narrate however you see fit together the removal of the enchantment, the reunion of the witch and her partner, and what the setup for the ceremony is. And then our last little bit together can just be what each of our characters does in the like aftermath very quickly. But we have about 15 minutes left and we still need to do outros. So make use of that time. The three of you, whoever would like to jump in first. How does the barrier break? How does this scene carry onwards?
So I think that Gaz kind of finishes this tree that he's very proud of, and he says, "Oh, one more bit of magic," and produces some small parcels, which he puts around the tree, and each of them has a little label with the name of the fellow competitors on it.
Oh.
He says, "Oh, the real magic's the friends we made along the way, eh?"
Chronomancy. Sorry.
And yeah, there's even one for Skip and Hilda.
Aww.
You know, Skip's got a you know, I imagine he sneezes into existence at just the right moment to receive a calendar that's an any year calendar, so he can hopefully keep track of wherever he ends up. Hilda finds a little a sort of a little kitchen set that she can give to her kids to keep the tiny utensils in so they don't get gnawed up anymore. There'll be for Nady, there'll be a little pocket mirror, which is sort of sparkly and pretty on one side, but then if you close it on the other side, it says "I will get you." Lord Oggybottom can have a selection of finest garlics from around the world that Gaz had brought to use as ingredients but didn't use in the end. So perfect. I just found out you don't hate them after all. I didn't have to avoid using them.
Thank you, much obliged.
Of course. Yulia, I have just brought an empty photo album so that you can put all your favorite memories of you and your grandfather, who's so important to you, in. And Lizzie, I have brought a matching set of Christmas jumpers for you and your wife, who it turns out is not dead, and your children.
Thank you.
It turns out that Gaz lied about the phone being bricked and has been desperately ordering things in the hope that somehow the extraplanar magic will bring it here. And it did! It's a miracle! So he hands out these gifts, and I think as he's doing all of this, the facade is cracking more and more as he kind of steps back to let his other fellow competitors present their bakes.
Well, unlike Gaz, I do have something up my sleeve. As I present my bake, I will fling my hand up with a burst of extra winter magic and will cast illusory sparkling snow that falls down to cover the kitchen. Doesn't stick, doesn't melt, it just looks pretty. And it carries with it the memory of the feeling that you are at home with your loved ones.
Lizzie steps up with this amazing replica crossbow and points it towards the last almost shattered and pulls back the sugar spun string and lets go the arrow to shatter the last bit of the shield.
The enchantment breaks, and you just see the Winter Witch, who has been extremely composed, severe in all of her commentary, just drops to her knees in front of her partner and has the softest little quavering voice, just saying I thought I would never see you again, that I'd never get to be with you and hold you close. And this very tall, very well-built individual just sort of cups underneath her chin, holds her up, and just gives the softest little kiss. Says, "My wonderful little snowflake, you can never be too far from me. You're always in my heart. I will always love you." And you watch as all of the chaotic blizzard and wintry tempest that's been all around this place just sort of fades to the very gentle snowfall, almost as though the very torrent and tempest that was her heart and in control of this domain has just eased and is at peace. Everyone, very quick, rapid fire, last little snapshot of each of your characters. Fire it off. Nady just sort of pops back into existence, gets the mirror, and she just flies on over to Gaz, and she says, "When I said I would see you in your dreams, I meant I was going to bring you gifts."
Oh.
And then she just disappears again.
Hmm.
That's Nady. Nady is going to be Nady is a dream spirit who communicates by bringing cheer to folks in their dreams.
In the most terrifying manner.
She gets at her aggression in reality. In dreams, she's the nicest person. In reality, she just
That's fair.
Nady's a definition of don't you want to stop being nice? Don't you just want to go feral some days? She's that. That's Nady. So, next person. Anybody.
I think Gaz brings out the phone and is like, "Right, I've never been good at the selfie thing, but get in, everyone, get in. Right, 3, 2, 1. Say cinnamon. takes a picture and is like, right, well, same time next year. I don't know how I got here or how I'm getting back, but we love keep in touch somehow. And yeah, Strath is gonna be thrilled about this rolling pin. Yeah, I took the old one and used it as a magic wand. She was livid, so this is great.
Next.
In a
Next.
little montage that maybe spans years or decades, you can't even really know, with a vampire, you see Sir Lord Oggiebottom III reconnect with all the other contestants of the Bakeoff. You see him experiencing other forms of moisture, trying to make shelf ice in Russia with Julia. Then you see him babysit the children of the double single mothers, Megg, of Lizzie and her wife. You see him jumping over sheep in the British countryside and sharing the latest magic tricks with the phantasmal gas, and even lying in his coffin really hard, trying to fall asleep, just trying to connect with the dream world. to maybe also see the destructive dream person again that he met, and really trying really hard to go against his own nature, just trying to reconnect with all the wonderful people he met during this Bake-Off competition.
Fantastic. Ilya or Lizzie, which other one of you?
There's just a quick snapshot of Lizzie with her family holding the grater and being like, all right, guys, let's get back to town. I learned that Brussels sprouts are a thing that we really need to start grading over some of these cemeteries. Isn't that nice, boys? See, you're not the only ones who don't like Brussels sprouts, but I told you how important they are, as they walk away.
He's just a little kid. He's like, all right, I'll listen to you, Mom. And like backpack has like crosses. There's like 12 different kinds of stakes. There's like a mini crossbow specifically designed for the kid.
Oh. Absolutely.
Ilya?
You will see a moment where I am reunited with my grandfather in his long ornate robe. I am dressed similarly, albeit perhaps not quite as ornate, a warm, fluffy hat, and a staff that bears a snowflake on the top. Because, as I have alluded, Yulia is in fact the granddaughter of Winter, otherwise known in Slavic folklore as Snegorochka. And she is joining her grandfather to bring cheer and joy and light to everyone in her realm. And that includes some new names at the top of her list.
And with that, we close this Winter Bake-Off one-shot. Thank you, everybody, for the fantastic, delicious, sometimes cursed descriptions of all of your bakes. In fact, very frequently cursed description of bakes. And
That's fair.
thank you so much. We are so grateful to everyone who has tuned in to listen to this one shot, to be horrified or intrigued by the food. We're just going to give everyone very quickly just shout out where other folks can find your work, and then I will be doing a quick little shout out to some of the games that we're going to be having coming up. But why don't I start with passing it over to Megg? So where can we find you, who you are, and where we can find you?
Sure. I'm Megg Griffin. You can find me almost anywhere on social media at Megg Griffin. Megg has 2 G's, so that's 3 G's in the middle. And I run Welcome to Reddington, which is a drama improv kind of actual play podcast. So yeah.
Fantastic. Let's pass it on over to our own Frostbringer of cheer, Shelby.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shelby. Thank you all so much for watching. You can find me across many social media platforms that are listed at shelbylane.card.co. And I'm happy to say that I will be appearing in another game this week, albeit in a bit less intimidating form. So that's something to look forward to.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. To our own incomparable Lord Oggybottom, Tom.
Hi, yes. You can find me as Tom SUR on all the socials I'm on, mainly I think Twitter and Blue Sky. In terms of role-playing games, I am popping up here and there. Don't know anything for sure yet. But if you like punk on hardcore, if that might be your thing, you can look up my podcast called Against. I just uploaded an episode with the fantastic band Pink Shift from Baltimore. So if that is your thing, if you're into music, if you're into punk, look that up, and you can find me on Spotify and all the streaming services. The podcast is called Against. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. And the brightness, the cheeriness, the absolute total hamminess that is Michelle. Take it away.
Thank you so much. I am Michelle Kelly. I am an actor, singer, voice actor, and a magician just trying their best. You can find me on pretty much all the socials at Michellecopter. So track me down, follow me to find out just where I'm going to pop up and spread some mischief next.
And hello there to DM Daddy RPG with that raid of 14 people coming in. Thank you so much, folks. We were catching us on the tail end of our outros and such. You have missed a show that once we have it all uploaded to Girls Run These Worlds YouTube, you can catch of many cursed, many wet and moist descriptions of food and combinations of words that hopefully, should God exist, will never ever be put together in a sentence ever again in the combination that they have been uttered. But we hope that y'all are enjoying yourselves, everyone who's tuned in. And last two bits of business. Number one, thank you, just everyone who's tuned in. Tomorrow we have some great announcements some great things that are going to be coming up that I'm going to announce right now. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. EST, Mass Freezer Burnt Episode 5. That's going to be streaming on YouTube and Twitch, run by Ali. Oh my God, amazing cast, amazing use of a system, great show, and 2 different ways that you can help support. I mean, come on. Why not? 2 p.m. EST, Holiday One-Shot, a Narnia-themed Wander Home game run by our own fantastic Ella, which I will also be a part of, and I may or may not be playing a much more severe individual than I did today. Behold, I will be a red wolf. Fear me, for I have known pain. But yes, that was the most edgelord statement I've ever managed as of yet. And last but not least, Thursday at 7 p.m. EST, we're going to be having Feywild Fiasco run by Tiffany. We are going to have an absolute just smorgasbord of fantastic things happening over here for the rest of December. We have so many one-shots covering a bunch of different systems. We got Dialect, we got 5e, we got Run One Ring, we got Brindlewood Bay. We got a supplement that's we've literally just named, because of the supplement name, Toe Beans. I mean, come on, folks. We have some amazing games. Come on out, give some support. Or if you can't do it live, come check out the VODs once they're available. And genuine, all levity, everything put to the side. Thank you, everyone, for all of your support. I know that this year has been hard on so many of us, whether through loss, difficulties with family, or just the state of the world being what it is. But we hope that in every bit of moment of cheer, of cursed imagery, of moments in which we indulge in not only the brighter moments of our humanity, but also the more emotional, despairing, and sad, that you are reminded ultimately that you are not alone, that the core of humanity is always connected to other people, and that you will take solace in knowing that there is joy, there is resistance, there is comfort, and there is just elation in knowing that other people here understand what you're going through, and even if they don't, they will be here for you. Take joy in the holidays, everybody. Whether you are freezing your ass off or you are going to be pleasantly comfortable. Enjoy a baked good. Find a warm drink. Take comfort with those who you need. Much love to everybody, and we wish you the best in all of your baking exploits. Take care, folks, and we hope we'll see you for the rest of our one-shots. Have a good holiday season, everybody.